Welcome to Innovation FM. We're doing a little bit differently tonight. This is going to be a pre-recorded show, and we'll probably air it on Facebook and all those guys tomorrow. So anyway, it is what it is. Technical difficulties. I have to lay my hands on the computer and exercise that demon. Jeez.
Welcome to
Well,
the Innovation FM universe, guys. I'm Alan C. Got Johnny J. and the House President and Station Manager of Innovation FM. Hit us up at info@innovationfm.com for anything music related. If you are a musician, recording artist, and you're independent and you don't really want to sign on to a record label, we can help you out. If you want to go the more traditional way and get signed on to a record label, we can help you out. Hit us up at info@innovationfm.com with an email, and in the subject line, just toss in your interest, and we'll get in touch with you. You know, there's nothing more important than music in this world. It heals, it soothes, it brings peace, and we could use a lot more peace. But we do have a bunch of updates to some stories. Looks like the
yes.
coffee and donut barista guy that worked for the White House, who went into the hospital, is okay. Everything's going good. Kind of secretive though. He I kind of wonder if Obama knew that the coffee donut guy, Secretary of Defense, just kind of went MIA for a week. Uh, you know, Biden didn't know anything for 4 days. What do you guys think? Below, toss it down below. Like, share, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Let us know what you think.
Yeah, it's really wild. It's like I still have a feeling that he's so infirmed and they're trying to cover it. And just like back in the 30s, there was one president we had, he was in crutches, but they would only, take pictures from the shoulders up, and they really kept it hid, but you could back in those days. And
Well,
uh,
there's also a big difference between the guy on crutches in the White House and the guy in the White House now without any real mental faculties and can't even make it up the short steps. Uh, Teddy Roosevelt was actually hailed as being one of our good presidents.
oh yeah, and I'm just listening to this interview with Cat Williams, and he was saying that okay, well, before the internet,
Mhm.
as a comedian, I didn't even think about this. You could write up some stuff,
Uh-huh.
and you could do it in this city, this city, this city, this city, and you could keep using that material for maybe 3, 4 months
Oh yeah,
before you circle back around.
right.
Now with the internet, once you've done it, you got to get back into the writing lab and start writing up some new stuff.
That's absolutely right. You know,
And
artificial intelligence makes that a lot easier, but even still, it's got to be very demanding.
yeah, and I'm just thinking to myself like, you know, and he said, and this guy, and man, this makes me think like if you start your kid out young, and Natalia tells me about this, you got to start him out young. At the age of 5, he was reading the encyclopedia,
Wow.
right? And he would read like I don't know three, I don't know if he said 300 books a month. I mean not a month, but 300 books a year, or he said I think he said 3,000, but I said that's crazy. But what else do you have to do as a kid? And
Well, yeah, I suppose so. I mean, being a blind guy, I read a lot myself, or more properly, listened to books on tape. So I don't know. I suppose 300 books a month wouldn't be out of the realm.
yeah,
2,000,
and
that's a lot of books.
I guess he was said his family was in the ministry,
Mhm.
and so he read like how to speak different languages, and he said he read the Bible through, and he said, okay, when I'm about 12 or 13, I'm going to leave. right? Now, and this is not in the topic, but I just got to listen to this because I never really knew this about Cat Williams, you know. So he left, you know, when Jesus was with his parents at 12, and then they thought he was coming back with them, and the parents started looking around saying, "Have you
Oh,
seen
right.
Jesus?"
Yeah.
And then when they finally found him, he says, "I'm about my father's business."
Right.
And they said, "What? You know, what are you talking about? You're 12-year-old, you know." So I guess he had a disagreement with his father. And this is really weird. His father said, "God told me that you're fornicating." And Cat says,
Oh,
"What? I'm not fornicating. What are you talking about?" He said, "Well, God told me that you were." And he says, and then that's when Cat says, "Wait a minute. If he's going to lie on God and tell me that God is lying on me, you know,
right.
this roof it's not big enough for the both of us."
Right.
So he went to the truck stop with his dog and his suitcase, and he had two options: California or Florida. He had family in neither places, and he got on, and then he started talking to the people, which you know, this is like I'm not sure how long. I'm not sure. I got to figure out how old Cat Williams is. And he started talking to doctors, lawyers, and stuff like that, and he found out that the reason most of them were homeless was because they used these heavier drugs, cocaine, marijuana, stuff like that. Yeah. I know, this is not in the topic, but sometimes you find a topic and you look at that topic and say, that's kind of interesting,
That's right.
right?
That's right.
And so he said he learned about those, and then that really got him saying, no way am I going to ever go that direction, right?
Wow.
And so he studied comedians, studied to see what they did, but he didn't know that they would be making money. But he said he would, this is how he made money. He would go, steal these car systems, stereos, what, and then he said he would make money from selling those on the street until he was able to figure out how to make money. And then he said he would spend 8 hours in the library reading. Then he would go out and steal these things so he can feed himself because I guess at that time there was no food stamps back in what maybe the 80s.
Yeah. I mean, see, now well over 50% of the United States is on some sort of government subsidy, whether it be SNAP benefits, from www.facebook.com, whether it be anything like, oh man, I don't know, Johnny. It's gotten, sorry, I got distracted there for a second. It's gotten out of hand. It's definitely gotten out of hand to where now we've got what we've got with uh society being what it is. Wow, I just totally lost my train of thought. Homelessness. Cat Williams. Let's see here. How old is Cat Williams? Cat Williams is 52 years old. Yeah, see, I thought he was about my age.
Oh,
Um,
so he's like 52 or so.
yeah, 52 years old. So, you know, back in the 80s, early 90s, people fell through the cracks. There wasn't just like what's going on now with all Americans and with our newcomer friends, our migrants and stuff. Uh, Things are disparate. There's a lot of inequality in the name of equity, and that's nothing's really changed. I remember back in the early '70s, people talked about what they called bleeding heart liberals. Save the whales, save the this. There's always a cause to be championed, and so for the longest time that held sway. And so, of course, government being the way that it is, it pretends to work for the people when in fact it's just setting up infrastructures to protect and, basically run right over the people and line their pockets while they're doing it. It's a well known fact now. So, I mean, Why fix a system that's not broken? Works fine.
Yeah, and also, like at the age of 13, you can't rent an apartment because you don't have,
Right.
well, at this time, you didn't have money at the time, and you have no credit rating.
Hey, Joe has joined the meeting.
Yeah.
Hey, oh, there you are. Hey, Joe. Hey, so you can't, it's a lot of things you cannot do uh, at the age of 13, 14, 15, 16.
Well, I remember
know,
playing some of the clubs back in the day, and I had to get permission from the owners to even get up on stage. So I could just imagine what it would be like to be a comedian like Cat Williams, trying to make a living at that age on the
hmm.
streets, theoretically, a little too young to really be able to get gainful employment, but still drilling into that talent of his. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And so, yeah, it was just, I don't, when I watched it, because I kept hearing about this interview, and I said, I mean, because they spent 3 hours and I've only got like 37 minutes into it. And I said, sometimes these long interviews, you really got to tell me something interesting for me to stick around that long. But anyway, so so let's get back into the topic. Okay, now yesterday uh, I spelled Lauren Bower's name wrong.
Oh,
Yeah, I just did. I said, I'm gonna write it
you
down the way
spell
I
it
think it's.
Booger.
Well, no, yeah. Oh man. So I got to give her, her props, because they say, like, they say bad news is good news, no news, no, as long as you get that, they spell your name right. So I said, okay, I'll put it back in the subject line because and I didn't even spell her last name all the way. I just said Miss, Lauren B, the way I thought should have been spelled. So now, Lauren, your name is spelled right. And I got into a fight, a Facebook fight with people because she wished everybody happy Merry Christmas. So I
Right.
said, hey, from my family to yours, Merry
Yeah.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
And
Right.
then some guy started talking about like something about she had a Johnson or something, something. And I'm thinking like, what is this? She's wishing everybody a Merry Christmas, and you guys are taking a pot shot at her.
Right.
And yeah, and then this other guy said something about uh oh, guess because she was getting frisky with her boyfriend at the theater. I said,
Right.
she's a grown woman.
Yeah.
If she wants
She's
to, kiss on her, or boyfriend wants to kiss on her, what? Who are we to say no? No, Miss Bowman, you got to do that. I don't know. I get some people
Well, the
that, well,
cameras were focused on her, though. They shouldn't be
yeah,
focused on her. I
that
yeah,
mean,
was
and,
they're
and
a
kind of
I,
weird.
security camera. Why are they focused on her?
That was kind of weird.
Yeah,
I think it was a
it's
setup
set up.
myself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely set up.
Yeah. Definitely a setup.
Yeah, so two guys were just coming at me about this stuff, and I'm thinking like, hey, I just hit him with the thing like, if one finger's pointing at me, three are pointing back at you, and
That's right.
let's get off
That's
this
right.
this this topic here because like, come on, she's just doing the best she can. So anyway, and then I said like that she slapped her husband, and it ended up like
I
I
guess
went
she
back over the
punched him in the
story.
nose, right?
Yeah, she I guess she balled up her fist,
She just straight up punched him.
punched
She
him in
just
the
man
nose.
punched him.
Oh man. And I guess maybe he's pretty tough, or maybe he's been there before. So he says, "No, I'm not going to press any charges." Wow.
I don't know. What do you folks think? I mean, I've been slapped by a woman before. I've never been punched by a woman before. Uh, I didn't like when I got slapped.
Yeah.
I don't know that I deserved to get slapped, but
Yeah. So one time this way, because I would tell her the truth, and she took this. I don't know if you see these glasses in the bar. They're pretty thick because I guess you
yeah,
could, you drop. she went and she hit me in the head with that.
With a bar glass.
Yeah, and I think I lost taste for a second.
Lost taste for a second.
But
Yeah.
back in the early 80s, I had this Mexican girlfriend, and she was just wild and always
Mm.
drunk. And
Oh,
she came home from the bar one night. My roommate had his girlfriend in bed with him, right? Well,
Yeah.
she
yeah.
started going after them.
Whoa.
Finally got her out of there. Then she took the phone and tried to hit me, and I just open hand knocked her right out. I mean, it may have been helped by the booze that she'd been downing, but
Oh, yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, I didn't mean to knock her out, but you have to protect.
Yeah. And then I noticed one, and she told me, and the guy lives here, she lives in another place, but she said I went toe to toe with this guy, and I'm thinking like,
No,
why?
you
What
didn't.
what are you guys doing? It's like if
Yeah.
you get that mad at the guy, it's like maybe you guys should, and they're still together, you know. She
Oh,
she she,
just walk
she
away.
yeah which I thought she did the most silliest thing. Her mother had died and left, her $35,000, which is
Right.
not a lot, but
No.
you could do stuff with that,
Yeah.
right? And she went and bought him a motorcycle, and that motorcycle is nowhere to be seen.
Oh yeah.
Like so the guy she went toe to toe with, you know, I guess I don't know if it was a I forgive you gift or or what. But anyway, but there's women, she
Some
like
people
to be
just like
spoiled.
to be beat on. Some people do. I mean, they're M&Ms. I don't know.
Yeah,
M&M's.
yeah, yeah.
The
So
green
anyway,
ones.
so
The green M&Ms. Hey, go downtown. Let me tell you what, leave a like, share, subscribe, toss a comment down below. What are some of your experiences that you've had, uh, women or men? What are some
oh
of
yeah,
your experiences? I mean, violence, we don't condone it in any way, shape, or form, none of that. But
yeah,
gosh, man, some of this stuff is just crazy. So, what do you guys think?
yeah.
What are some of your experiences?
And do you think she's going to win the CD4? Because it's pretty crowded over there. So, and she has a way of getting that name recognition.
That's right.
So who knows? We'll see. So anyway, I think I redeemed myself. So if she sees it on Facebook, Mrs. Bowman, I didn't say anything bad. And then Wayne Dupree, he sounded like he wanted to go out on a date with you. So, you
Nom
know,
nom nom.
he may be getting your number here soon. Oh man. But anyway, so anyway, that's we'll put that back in the basket there. Now, what about this about Nikki Haley? Now, she did the one thing that I guess made people not trust her. And I'm thinking like maybe she did more things that Republicans wouldn't trust her because she told Trump that, oh, if you run, I won't run. So that's one. So I think she might have did some other things, not just that one thing that Kristi Noem, the governor in Nebraska, is only signaling out one thing. Now, is there any other thing that you guys have heard of other than that she's saying that she won't run and then she did run? And then she said that I guess Republicans are known for helping get rid of slavery. And this guy asked her, and she didn't put that in, so they count that as a wrong, as something that she did wrong. But I don't know. I don't even know if that would even be even big enough to count as something because she just had another perspective.
I know
So
this. I know
She's
that,
a neocon.
yeah, I know that she cannot be trusted to do anything. I know this. I know that she went in there relatively not really rich and anything like this. And now gosh, her net worth is now, there's nothing better than hard work. There's nothing better than taking advantage of certain positions that you have to better yourself. But I'm just looking at this lady. She's my age. She's what, 52, I think, as well, or maybe 51. And, you know, these things are hard, and if you're broke, and then 5 years later, suddenly you're in the spotlight and you're super rich, there's something going on.
Do you think she did some inside trading like Nancy
Couldn't
and a
say.
lot of those guys?
Most of them have. Most of
Yeah.
them have.
Yeah, couldn't say. I mean, allegedly, most of them have indeed committed what is termed as insider trading, which it's a big phrase that's being thrown around. And really, when you boil it all down, it's something that we can't do. If we can't do it, why can they do it?
Hmm.
That's really all it boils down to. If you've got future knowledge of some company that has some stock that's publicly traded, and something's about to happen, and you pull that stock and you sell it, you should be fine. But no,
Hmm.
you do that, you're
Yeah.
under the jail. They do
Well,
that?
yeah,
No,
didn't
they're
they did
fine.
that to Martha Stewart, right? She
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
yeah.
she
So
so
it's an interesting set of situations that we find ourselves under, and you know, only Jesus Christ can uh, see us through this, and get us. He never did promise us smooth sailing, but he did promise us a safe landing. So that's where my hope and my trust is. There's no politician on the planet that I look to for my salvation. Although I will say this, I am on the Trump train. So we'll just have to see what happens. Right before we started doing the show earlier, I saw something come across a liberal feed saying, well, there's a judge and he's not really sure that Trump should have immunity. So we'll just have to see how all this plays out. But, you know, everybody can use our prayers. No.
yeah. So so she got there some way. So we may find out. Then again, we may not. And then there was talk like why Trump will not pick her as a vice president because he said she already stabbed me once in the back. It's like should I go back, keep going back? So that's something
Now,
else.
I had heard that Trump was doing some entertaining of Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson was like, no, I'm not that type of material.
No, he's a journalist. He's a journalist. I mean, I think that's
so,
his lane right there.
so what do you think? Who's going to be his VP?
Somebody tossed around Chris.
Kristi
No,
Noem,
no, Tim. No. Tim. Tim. Scott. Tim or Skim.
Tim
Tim
Scott?
Scott. Yeah. So I tossed his name around. Uh, I don't. I don't think. Let's see. That other guy, the doctor who did the brain surgery. He's too laid back. But of course, you don't want somebody that's going to overshadow you. So I'm thinking like who else is laid back and but not easily sold out. It could be easily have their heads turned.
Rand Paul would be good.
Yeah.
And Paul, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I like the way he used to go after Fauci. Yeah,
That's for sure.
yeah,
That's for sure.
yeah. Lindsay wouldn't be good because he's turned he's he's been I don't know he's not out there. What about the other lawyer, the guy who's Spanish, um, who Trump lost to him during the primaries last year, the beginning ones. I forgot his name, but he's a lawyer
A
too.
lawyer Trump lost to?
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, and in the beginning, in the state
That's
that he's
right.
at now,
Hmm.
uh, and he has a podcast, and he has an interesting voice. He's from Texas. He's from Texas or Florida? Yeah, he's from Texas.
Hmm.
This senator,
Hmm.
but I can't remember his name. I could hear his voice
Oh,
in my head.
Cruz.
Yes,
Cruz.
Cruz. That's his name.
Ted
Yeah, yeah,
Cruz, an interesting
yeah.
thing. I was working the polls in northern Colorado in 2016, well, 2015, 2016, that whole spiel. And when the primaries came here, Cruz got 24 votes. And of course, the other guy running didn't get in. So I don't know. I kind of had a mistrust of Cruz in anyway. But he's turned out to be invaluable. He knows his constitution. He does stand up for stuff, but even still, I kind of have a hard time trusting somebody who knows that the system is rigged.
How do you tell when
Um,
lawyers lying?
yeah, that's right.
Their mouth is moving.
Their mouth is moving. That's right. That's right. So
That's crazy.
it's a rough one. It's a rough one because I respect Cruz for his intellect. I respect Cruz for his knowledge of our United States Constitution. I respect a lot of his record, but I'm sorry, man. When I personally saw him snap up all those votes in northern Colorado and the other guy get 0 votes, I'm like, no, no, I don't. I think there's something stinky going here. This is one of the main reasons why I didn't stay in um, political sciences, and become a politician myself. Is, man, just this idiocy. Why does it have to be like this? You know?
Yeah.
It doesn't.
Well, that's the thing is it doesn't until we, the people, decide, hey, this puppet show has gone on long enough. Uh, they're just going to keep trying to manipulate us, and they'll bend us into a bunch of different contortions. Hopefully, we'll not break or snap, but that's going to depend upon, I think anyway, and this is just my opinion, but it depends upon our grounding. Where is our grounding? And our grounding isn't here. It's in the eternal. So, let them do what they will, because once Dad gets home, there's going to be some cosmic evictions going on. Let me tell you.
There's so many of these people out there making all these predictions on this and that and how the country's going to come back and all this and that. But you know what?
So,
We're in the end times.
yeah,
Without a doubt,
there
we're
is
in
no
the end
getting
times.
around that.
And the world is going to be sucked up into one government.
Yep.
Hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. Now let's talk about this double jeopardy, which I didn't even think about that. So this lawyer, he thinks, oh, I'm going to get Trump for the January 6th. I'm going to try him and I'm going to do it. And then, and I even forgotten. It's it was in the back of my mind, but didn't the Senate, the Democrats try to do that before when they tried to impeach them for the third time, and then it didn't go anywhere?
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, that would be called double jeopardy.
Double jeopardy.
But
Yeah.
but these people are not even thinking. They're just
Well,
acting.
they're in a massive panic.
Yeah.
With
Yeah.
Epstein files coming out,
Oh
these
yeah.
people are panicked.
Oh,
Oh
I
yeah.
heard
All their
some
dirty
pictures
little
surfaced.
secrets are coming out.
Well,
I heard some pictures.
the strange thing, 3, 4 years ago, man, when all this stuff was still just quote conspiracy, why, you had a fringe of folks that believed all this stuff was absolute gospel truth, and they were fighting mad. Then you had a contingent of folks that just they is so far fetched that they couldn't believe it, and now that it's coming out, it's breaking a lot of people's minds because I mean, who wants to believe this stuff is going on? I mean, who wants to? It doesn't matter how deprived you are, there is still a moral center that a lot of people hold to, and man, they don't dig this stuff that's coming out, man.
Well, I mean, we've been lied to for probably over a century.
Yeah,
Absolutely lied to about everything.
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 Yep.
Yeah,
There's
it was a time that we were so naive that we just say, hey, Walter Cronkite, he he couldn't lie to us,
That's the
you
way it
know,
is.
and it's like, and you find out that, they go where the money goes. And
That's right.
if the guy that is writing, signing your check says you got to say this, well, then you say this.
yep.
So, yeah. But now, I mean, with all this information, this is, I mean, it's almost like a two-edged sword because you're now realizing that, man. And then even the Who was saying it back when they wrote that song, "We Won't Be Fooled Again." So they knew things just from, I guess, observing and maybe being around
Meet
some
the
of the
new boss,
insiders.
same as the old boss.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's
So
been
even
going
they, I
around for
mean,
a long time.
yeah. And then somehow you just get enlightened. And I think that's why they want to keep, you know, through, let them drink and party and do all that kind of stuff and keep them distracted so they don't see the wizard behind the curtain.
It's interesting that you bring it up in that way, Johnny, because there's a theory and it's being touted as one of the keys to success, this as above, so below kind of thing. So if you imbibe in more negative things like, partying and just living it up for today and not worrying about tomorrow, that's the below aspect of things. But however, if you try to do the whole straight and narrow and stay the course and all this stuff, um, that's the exact opposite. And so I don't know. I mean, what does one do in this day and age where all of our values that we grew up with are being called into question? Do we
Mm.
stay the course and just stay positive? That's really where I'm at. I mean,
And I just saw this video, which I'm going to see if I can bring it on. In New York, they just passed this law, and nobody's going to notice it until they invoked it, that says they can take you, quarantine,
oh
quarantine you
yeah, quarantine came for,
without your
yeah.
permission. They can give you shots without your permission, and they could do it to the young and the old. And so these guys are talking about that. So my silly daughter, she was saying, "Well, I don't vote," and I said, "Yeah, that's when they
That,
grab you and say take you away, you can tell them that, and then it won't matter because you weren't paying attention, as a
right.
lot of people are not paying attention." And I said, "So they're not going to use it now, but down the line, they're going to cause something else to happen and say, okay, we're not asking.
Yeah, we're
It's a
just
law
telling you
that
this is
says
the way it is.
this is what it is."
Yeah.
And so, how many New Yorkers know this law? I know a lot of them are leaving, but
Yeah,
what
right.
about the ones who are well, right now they got people there who can't. Sometimes some of them can't speak English, so they're not going to be looking at the law because they're just enjoying the free ride until the piper comes back and say, okay, now it's time to pay.
Yep.
So it's gonna be interesting how this is gonna happen. Hey, well, I got this event I'm gonna be going to, so we're gonna air this, put this out there probably tomorrow at 5, and hopefully my computer will be up and going tomorrow. I'm gonna turn it off and just boot it. Well, I don't know. Even I don't even know if that would help, but anyway, that's the way it is. So anyway, we're gonna call it a night, and we'll see you guys. Hmm. Well, since this is going to be on Wednesday, we'll see you guys next week.
Right.
All
All
right.
right. Well, God bless everybody. Thanks, hey Joe, and good to see you as always. And thanks, Johnny. God
All
bless.
Same.
right. See
Take care.
you. All right.